welcome to The Patch. This week brought to you by Crunchyroll and MeUndies. Look at you guys on fucking top of that. All right, that's our two sponsors. We'll be talking more about them later. This is The Patch. You want to flip that over?
Okay, I'll flip
This
thing.
is Gus.
Meg.
Ryan.
And Gus.
We should really not do that in that order, huh?
Why?
Because then we say Meg Ryan every time.
Switch. Swap. I'll be like the Mad Hatter. Change places.
Change places.
So did y'all miss me? I was gone.
Terribly. Yeah. Oh man, it all went off the rails. Whenever we have an Achievement Hunter takeover on the Patch podcast.
You guys, we were all out.
Yes. Yeah. Everyone abandoned me. So
my social media feeds become a Gus is gonna be mad.
Yeah.
Don't watch this episode, Gus. I'm like,
I'd like to
what
say
are they
that I had
doing?
some of the most amazing ad reads ever.
Oh, really?
Yeah, man. Those were there. I should have gotten an Oscar for that because
Did the sponsors choose not to sponsor us for this week because of your ad reads last week?
that's my favorite Oscar category, honestly, is ad reads.
Ad
reads.
That's,
It should be.
That's the one,
I don't know
the
why
ad
it isn't one yet.
segue should be the real Oscar category.
That's
'cause
true.
That's the hard part.
We'll give ourselves an award at the end of the year for that.
That should
slipped
be
in.
like when we do patch favorites.
Dude, I
Be
took
like,
it from,
best segue.
I took it from Matt Bragg into Dollar Shave Club. Look, that was a good one, right?
Oh yeah.
And then I think I tied you into the Trunk Club.
I'm pretty good.
You tied him into
If-
the
yeah.
trunk.
Well, I mean,
it sounds
that's-
very kidnappy.
There was a little of that, yeah. There was a lot of things.
Wasn't Ashley here?
Ashley was here, but it was like, well, do we try a newbie? Do we go with Ashley and somebody new, or do I? Well, we
Take it
also
off the
had
rails.
we launched the Achievement
Full
Hunter channel, so it was a
Oh,
good
yes,
chance to
yes.
like promote the Achievement Hunter channel.
Very
and
true.
That's youtube.com/achievement hunter.
It is. I think we may have accidentally made ourselves have to do an Achievement Hunter podcast. We'll see.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, things went that way. No? Gus says no.
I'm
I
just
think
looking
Gus
at the
thinks
camera.
no one will sponsor that is the problem.
I think it'll just be everyone yelling at one another.
Yeah, pretty much, yeah. It'll be brought to you by Rum and Dildo King.
Yeah. That's what the patch should be brought to.
I'm interested. I'm not saying no.
I'm not saying no, Dildo King.
What do you got there?
This is, I went to Italy on vacation, and limoncello was very big. There were lemons freaking everywhere. And we stayed in this like tiny village, Ravello, and they had this is strawberry limoncello. So I was like, oh, I got limoncello, but then I also got these are like little strawberry bits.
Is that what that is? Okay.
They look like little raspberries, but they're definitely like miniature strawberries.
I
Sure they
don't
are.
speak Italian, but I think that label says that it's 30% alcohol.
It's real alcohol.
Yeah, that's pretty strong.
When you order a glass of it, you get a shot of it.
Yeah.
Like you just get a little, but it's on like a little champagne flute stem.
Oh, so it's
with
fancy.
those little
You get a
shots.
shot? Is it like a warning? Like, all right, this is what you're in for if you actually
It's
buy
like
this?
they drink it, they eat it. They drink it after meals. That and grappa.
Mm.
Grappa is don't fuck with.
I wasn't gonna. I had no plans to mention the game
Please
that shall
don't.
not be
But
named.
this can
but
stay.
I'm very intrigued.
You just want to try.
I do want to try that. My current drink is not strong enough.
You were just saying it's too strong.
It's pretty strong. I put a little too much in there. All right, so yeah, I was at San Diego Comic-Con last
Nice.
week,
How was it,
which
people?
it's awful. I love
All
San
right.
Diego. I love
Yeah.
everyone in San Diego. The event is like something else. But it's interesting to me that there was kind of a big deal that Marvel wasn't going this year, and
They always
Marvel didn't
people
go?
sit it out every year and they're like, oh, is this the end of Comic-Con?
Well,
No, it's not.
It's
the
a
end of
Comic-Con snub.
I haven't been in 5 years, so I don't know when this happened. If it was
This
this year,
is my
but
first time not going in 5 years.
It's
Oh,
We
Meg Turney
swapped.
also not there, and Marvel.
they moved the video games.
They originally took over the comic section.
Right.
So now where are they?
So, like, when you walk in, tell me where it was when you went. They're on the far right side in Hall A.
yeah.
Okay.
That's where that used to be the comic book area.
They used to be on the far left in Hall H.
So the last year that I went, actually when they started the first year they were a bit in Hall A. They were also in near Hall H. They were like a couple. The people who made Ion, NCSoft, they were one of the companies that was on the far left. But then Behemoth had a huge booth over in A, and that was very controversial because that's normally just comics.
Yeah, comics are all gone from there.
Wow.
That's the comics have been moved elsewhere. Now it's like there was an Xbox
Where's
area,
elsewhere?
like over more central, like C-ish.
Huh, that's usually TV.
Yeah,
They're
it was like-
literally now like just being squished in until it's like Things Con.
And somehow they expanded Artist Alley, and that fills up like most of Hall H
Did
now.
DeviantArt
It's like
still-
how is this happening?
Did DeviantArt still do their stuff with it?
I
Do you
didn't
know?
see them
They
there.
used sponsored last 2 years.
I didn't see them there. That doesn't mean they weren't there.
Hmm.
I saw mainly our booth, but I was impressed to see how much bigger the video game section has gotten, but that makes me fucking angry.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's not a video game show.
It's not.
The people there don't care about video games. I don't know why developers and publishers invest the money in that show.
I mean, was that hall empty?
It's
Did you
packed,
see no one in
but
there?
the
It's
problem
packed.
is,
Yeah.
it's
It
not.
is.
That's why.
It's not people who are interested in their stuff. And in fact, like even Xbox had to have their lounge over in the Hyatt, which in the past I know they had done activations off site that were free to anyone, but now it's like you have to have a badge to get in there. I'm pretty sure.
That's how
As,
everything is now.
as they've grown their presence on the floor, Comic-Con has said, well, if you're doing this other off-floor shit, you need to have badges to get in there.
To get into Hooters, you have to have a badge. Like everywhere in San Diego is badge. And now it's actually the interesting thing is that I saw from pictures and stuff. I do have to say, I didn't miss it. I didn't miss not going to Comic-Con this year. I thought I would.
Yeah.
Didn't miss it at all. But what I saw from people is now the new underground is to find like, we're finding a bar where you don't need a badge. It's like, that's like, we have a badge, but we're not going to use it. It's like the new underground is to go somewhere you don't need a badge. Like, we're escaping from
I'm a
Comic-Con.
member
You
of the
came
elite.
here.
I'm a member of the elite, but I
I
want to
choose
live
not
like
to
I'm
be.
not.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes. No, it's like you traveled to Comic-Con and now you're trying to escape Comic-Con. Like, just give in to what it is.
The other interesting, another annoying thing was, so everything gets super crowded. Anytime you want to eat, it's just like forget about it. There's a long wait. So Bernie gets mad at me about this, but my strategy is always find the most expensive restaurant because there
yeah.
will be the least number of people there. So there are two restaurants I always go to that fit this bill. There's the Lou and Mickey's right across the train tracks.
Are you sure you want to out these?
No, I will out there because
Because they're
I'm going to tell you
expensive,
why.
yeah.
It's over.
You're done.
Oh, it's over.
Lou and Mickey's was rented out by Mortal Kombat. The entire
Interesting.
show.
Oh my God.
Interesting.
So you couldn't get in there after
I'm
Wednesday.
trying to think of the name of the place that I went. Sullivan's?
No, it's a Donovan's.
Donovan's.
It's the
that's what it is.
steakhouse. That's right there.
Donovan's.
That's my other
That
place.
was my place.
That place now, every time I ate there, was filled with cosplayers. Which I'm not saying like it's a bad thing, but it's like
Weird.
in the past it was always dudes in suits,
Yeah.
and now it was like I had a nice steak dinner seated next to the table with Harley Quinn.
Interesting. Because I actually, the first year I went to Donovan's and was like, ooh, this is good. We should keep coming here. I went specifically to change out of my cosplay costume. I'm like, they're not going to let me in dressed as Poison Ivy. I'm going to
No,
change.
like every table was
And
like
now they would have
cosplayers
just
now.
sat you right at the whole evil league
yeah,
table.
exactly.
Yeah, it was like Harley
Harley's
Quinn,
waiting for you.
me, and then a table, like a long table filled with Japanese businessmen executives.
Oh, you're here with the
Crazy. They
Suicide
brought-
Squad.
yeah,
I see. Okay, come
exactly.
right this way.
You know what I think was really interesting, and we may be getting into this, but the Suicide Squad, speaking of Suicide Squad, the Suicide Squad Hall H leaked footage that they were like, we're not putting it out. That's just for Hall. Okay. Like,
No, not even like that. It was like, you all are criminals and
Yes.
thieves, and we didn't want to do this, but because you're so bad, we're going to put this out.
Exactly. They basically what happened was the footage from Hall H leaked. It's always going to leak, except what it is. You have that many people in Hall H, they're gonna leak the footage. Somebody did like a cam video of the Suicide Squad trailer. Then they came out and said, "We're not going to show anything. We're not going to release the footage. It's very bad that this came out." And then finally, we're like, well, fine. Just because you guys ruined all of the fun, we're gonna release a trailer. That's not how you handle it. You
No.
handle it by saying like when they had the trailer leak that they were like, "Damn it, Hydra!"
Yeah, it was
and
for the
that-
Avengers,
Yeah, the
yeah.
Avengers. That's how you handle a leak. You don't tell
You
everyone.
don't
to
make your
fuck off
audience
and
You don't
feel
blame
bad.
them.
Yeah.
And which-
blame them for their excitement and interest in your product.
And it was generally a very well-received trailer, and it's
Yeah.
like, why is there all this other shit going on about it?
I will say, didn't like Margot Robbie's. What is her last name? Robbie.
Robbie.
I don't know. Robbie Robbie's she didn't have a twang. She didn't sound like Harley Quinn to me.
She didn't sound
have,
very-
like,
well,
a
she
New
didn't talk
Yorkie
much
accent.
either. She
Yeah,
barely
but
talked.
There's one full line she says in the trailer, which, well, she says, "Are you the devil?" But she also says, "I hope
you
you've
have
got
insurance." Yeah.
insurance." And I'm like, doesn't sound like you have a New York accent or like that twangy accent that Harley Quinn's supposed to have.
Yeah, they seem like they really backed off on a lot of the strong idiosyncrasies of the characters.
Which makes me sad.
Also, the whole intro where it's like steak dinner, and it's like, all right, you're really pushing hard on this. Can we reasonably let these people out of prison? You didn't sell me in the trailer. It's like, no,
It's a
I
comic
don't
book,
think we
accept it.
should.
They're
Yeah.
getting out.
Yeah, I guess so. It's like we got to make the movie, so
Yeah.
out
And
of the
I
prison.
gotta say, didn't hate Jared Leto's Joker. Didn't hate it.
We'll see.
I've been saying I don't think it's going to be that bad. People
Everybody
get upset
always
about
freaks
that
out.
stuff.
People
Yeah.
freak out every time. I didn't think it was that bad. I want a Mr. J. I want like that like twang in her voice.
I'm looking for this GIF here. I can't find it, but someone made a GIF. You know, when she says, "I hope you have insurance," she's in the car and she's like chewing gum. Someone put like a piece of pizza in front of her mouth, and it's like, she's eating pizza. I thought it was really funny.
I liked, this is the weirdest thing, but I liked when she was in her cage and she like stretches out her feet, like because she's like like in her little
Kind of
I thought it was
ballerina-
really cool.
or not
Weird
ballerina.
foot fetish moment, but it was like, oh, it was neat the way she stretched her feet.
Tarantino a producer on
Yeah, I know, right?
Did you actually get to see any of the gaming stuff while you were there?
I very briefly walked through it. So
Interesting. People don't go there.
well, it's like, well, I'm a gamer. I run a video game
Are you
event,
gonna start,
RTX.
are you gonna start approving people to come to the video game section of Comic-Con?
Look, the Venn diagram there's a lot of overlap, all right, between,
is.
I don't know what this is
I'm
supposed to signify.
supporting you.
It'd be more like
We're
this.
doing it.
Yeah.
We're going together here.
So I walked over to the Hyatt and I walked through the Xbox lounge or the Xbox experience, and they had an interesting mix of stuff. So they had, the Gears of War and Halo 5, and you could hold the new Elite controller.
Oh, how'd it feel?
I didn't have enough time to go wait in line to handle it. But
you had to wait in line to hold it.
yeah, and they
Just wanna
had
cradle it.
a live action, or not live action. They had like a walled off area where you could have like a Nerf battle that was
That's
Halo
cool.
themed.
I would do that.
It was like you
They've
capture.
really been pushing the Halo thing pretty hard. They had the whole HoloLens experience at.
That was cool.
Oh, did you get to do it?
Easily the coolest thing I did at E3.
Tell me what it was.
It was so much fun. Let's talk about it.
Tell me
because
everything about it because I love the HoloLens.
we talked about it a lot in RT content, but basically it is so much crisper and clearer than you could have ever imagined like a hologram could be. It's the future. And I
So
was really
Gavin was
excited
saying
about it.
you could see through it a little bit, but not
But
terribly
enough
much.
enough that I was like, I accept that you are not a physical being, but I believe your image, and I can interpret your image. You seem solid.
Did the FOV bother you?
It only bothered me a little bit because it was so. They have like a little headset, a thing you're supposed to wear right here, or like where you'd wear a hat. But I ended up having to push that back here because it was so weighty in the front. It pushed my glasses down my face, and that would like dip my image down a little bit. So once I figured out that if I pushed the thing back, I got a pretty clear picture. I did get some bouncing in the top, but you wouldn't get them at the same time. If you were tilted up, you get a little bit of bounce at the bottom. If you tilted too far down, you get a little bounce at the top. But there was a happy medium.
Okay.
I was happy with it.
And did you say also that when they put it on, they have to calibrate it for your pupil distance?
Yes, your
IPD.
interpupillary distance. Yes. Well, you did that in line, and then they wrote it on your badge. And Bernie was so proud of how far apart his pupils were. It was so strange.
What a weird thing to
He came
derive
over and
pride
was like,
in.
"You're never so small. You should be ashamed."
I will say, I forget what the number was, but his number was
it was
bigger
like
than mine.
69,
I think
right?
my
I would never have guessed that he had a greater
69.1 or
IPD.
something.
my IPD is like 67. So
Mine was like 59 or something, and he was like, "You should be ashamed." Wait,
Are you-
the
are you-
close one. The close one. There you
There
go.
it is. Should we just get a ruler?
your eyes are closer together than mine.
Well, they should be. I should have a smaller face than a grown man.
Grown. Oh, grown.
I didn't say old man. I could have.
But I behave like a child. So yeah, I was talking about the Hyatt. Then I felt like the space on the floor was kind of sad, honestly.
Oh.
Like Xbox had some stuff on the floor. Then you walk through and Blizzard was there, not showing anything. They just set up a Blizzard retail shop where you could buy
What?
They do
physical
that.
goods.
Yeah,
Why?
they do that. Where you can get like con exclusive things, and they've done that a few years in a row.
Why weren't they showing the skies of Azeroth and just have like some
Something.
Google Cardboard?
They might not have had enough space. I don't know.
All right.
But
Well, I mean,
it
that's
was
this big.
It was
Just
a
have
rather
like
small footprint
Okay.
that they were
Yeah,
operating
usually
out
have a
of.
pretty small booth.
Then like I walked on and there was like Nintendo was there with Mario Maker. And then I turned and the Behemoth was there. And that's all that I really saw.
Behemoth is there at every con, and I never feel like they have a huge title to be showing. Since Battle Block Theater, I haven't seen or heard of a big title for Behemoth.
Well, their next one's coming out soon, right? Game number 6.
Oh, I've never heard of that.
Let me
It's a
look it up.
flashy title. That probably took most of the budget.
Behemoth game.
Yeah, I always feel
Game
like-
4. Sorry,
Game 4.
Game 4.
Maybe I have.
I'm looking it up. Yep, Behemoth Game 4.
They always have like their little
Is
arcade
it about
machines.
counting?
I'm trying to see. I'm trying to look up a release date very quickly.
I like to.
Well,
I
it's their
love it if
four-
it was their third game.
It's their 4th
Where
game.
they had like Alien Hominid, Castle Crashers, Battle Block Theater.
And Game 4. Oh God damn it! I can't find it. I can't find it. I'm sorry. I failed. But the
Well,
other,
if only you spent more time at their booth.
I would have known. But
Yeah, come on.
they bring a pretty cool setup where they bring
They
like
really
giant
do.
arcade
Yeah.
games, and it's really neat. I think
appreciate
they're going to be at RTX.
They were last year.
They're really really great. Thank you, Behemoth. You're great. You're awesome. But like I feel like since I've been back, so there really weren't any announcements. Gaming is definitely very secondary, maybe even like tertiary to
Yeah.
San Diego Comic-Con. So no one goes there to make announcements or do anything really big. So I feel like news continues to trickle, and I think probably the biggest piece of news. Well, there are a couple of big pieces of news, but one of the bigger ones was the fact that I guess Kojima's name has been totally stripped from the final Metal Gear Solid 5 box art. Not only his name, but the Kojima Productions as well is gone. And there's
Konami will erase you.
He did something bad,
He
right?
slept with someone's wife.
I
Come
mean,
on.
bad.
And there was
Come
al-
on.
He
there was
slept with someone's daughter. It's getting grim.
three-way.
Oh, no. I hope it's just someone's wife and someone else's daughter.
Nope. So and then also there was that rumor that the Japanese voice actor who plays
Yes.
Snake said that Kojima Productions was disbanded.
Not a rumor. Absolutely confirmed. It was on his Twitter account. He tweeted it, but he used it. He used it. I was excited about what I was going to say. He used it. He used a verb, kaisan, which means to dissolve or to break up. So it doesn't say whether it's amicable or like forcibly dissolved.
This is amazing. I love that we have
So-
drama that it takes translation.
Yeah,
it's
Japanese
like,
verbs.
Whoa, it could mean one thing. It depends on the verb conjugation.
Yeah.
Yeah, shout out to Brian Ashcroft at Kotaku for pointing that out because he's a native Japanese speaker. So he was the one who pointed that out.
So even people that natively speak Japanese aren't sure what they meant.
Right. Well, so they interpret it as dissolved. But he did know that. But it was interesting because he said this is his final Metal Gear. Although Konami has said we're going to continue the Metal Gear franchise, Kojima has also said this is the final Metal Gear, no matter what happens, even if they keep going on with the series, is what he considers the final Metal Gear. So could they, Akio Otsuka is the voice actor, could they continue on without Kojima and the man who brings the character to life?
I don't know.
No.
Yeah,
Sure.
The
No,
answer
they
is no.
could. They could. They can make another game. They can always make another
Yeah,
game.
but they can make it, but will it be successful?
It'll be the world of
They could
Metal
make.
Gear.
I mean, if you look at, then there was like Metal Gear Rising: Revengeance
That was
Which
horrible, though.
was not
It
the best
was.
game,
I played it. It was terrible.
but yeah,
Also,
but it didn't use.
I did play it, but it was.
It did use Snake, and it didn't use Kojima. So it's possible.
What's Jawman's name?
Raiden.
Raiden.
So it could.
oh, the guy no one likes.
They could make another game, but
or
I've really been wanting to go back and replay Metal Gear Solid 2, Sons of Liberty, just because I feel like a lot of the themes that they talked about and a lot of things that went on in that game became very relevant like 15 years after the game came out, like state-sponsored surveillance and like this mass conspiracy and all these ideas. It was like, at its time, it was like, what the fuck is this? I'm not, and it didn't have, Snake. You're like, I'm out. I was, an angry kid. But now I'd like to re-experience it. I really need to go back and replay it.
I was reading that was some people's very favorite game, and that was absolutely worth playing.
For me, it was the bait and switch. Like, I loved Metal Gear Solid so much, and the trailers for Sons of Liberty were so like awe-inspiring and full of Snake. And then you get the game, you're like, yeah, Solid Snake. What? Yeah. After like 2 hours, you're like, oh, Raiden. But there was another. Actually, there was I've got like a fucking train of thought here. There was another bit of news related to that, actually. The guy who directed Metal Gear Solid, or Metal Gear Rising: Revengeance,
Yes.
Something Saito, said that he won.
Something Saito.
Something
His parents
something.
are very proud of that name.
something,
Something
Saito.
Saito.
It translates into something beautiful.
I'm not a native Japanese speaker. Not a Japanese speaker. I'm very sorry. Saito. That's all I remember. I guess he's currently working on a Transformers game, I believe, that's going to be wrapping up soon. And he tweeted that he would, for his next project, he would love to work on like a Kill la Kill game, which I thought was really interesting.
People would be very happy. People
Oh.
love Kill la Kill.
Would it be?
They
I guess
loved it.
it'd have to be a fighter, right? Well, I guess you could have kind of an open world sort of thing.
Yeah, well, I don't
Like
think it'd have to be like a Street fighter, like that kind of
What-
pure fighting game, but it could be, I think it could be story driven.
You could do kind of like a Naruto. You know how I don't know if you've played any of the Naruto games, but they some of them. I haven't played any of the newer ones, but the older ones had like a free roam section, basically an open world. You could just navigate or run around Konoha Village, and then it would be in the actual action part of it was more of a 2D, not 2D. It was still a 3D fighter.
So it's kind of like almost Final Fantasy-ish, where you're roaming around open world, and then when there's combat, you like zoom in.
Sorta, yeah. I mean, those would say, okay, time to fight, basically, and then it would turn into that. Usually, where you were, like it wasn't like you beamed across to a different area, kind of like Final Fantasy likes to do. Like, oh, I'm walking next to the coast. I'm in a desert.
Let's talk about the Kill la Kill, especially. or specifically rather. Have you watched it?
I've watched about 3/4 of it.
Oh, so you know the suit is the weirdest thing I've ever heard of in
The
my whole
suit-
damn life.
Is a little. Well, let's talk about the dad who made the suit for the girl.
Let's talk about that also.
Sup,
Gus,
girl?
Have you seen
I have
Kill
not,
Kill?
so tell me.
So it's
Enlighten
a
me.
girl who puts on a suit. First of all, that just covers her norks like to
Oh, yeah.
here.
Her
Like,
norks?
That's a British slang term for.
That's a good one. I like
Funny
that.
story on vacation.
Norks.
One of mine fell out and Gavin said, "Put your nork away." Anyway, yes, it means boob. But anyway, it like feeds on her blood.
Initially.
Through her boobs?
Yeah, well, through a lot.
Whatever it can get.
Through her boobs and like a sliver of her vagina.
Well, that's in Virginia, yeah.
Yeah.
Vaginas for lovers.
Well, after it was done with her, she was no longer had a vagina. But it's
so strange.
in battle mode, it's very
yeah,
small.
it's very tiny.
In non-battle mode, it's still very small. It's just slightly bigger than
But
that.
it's like it has a personality. This
It does. It talks. It's her own.
suit.
It's her friend.
Yes, and it was made by her father.
Yes.
For her? Or for someone, like, randomly?
To fight the forces of fashion.
Fashion?
That sounds like I'm joking, but in the larger sense of the world, it is not. Yeah, it is a world where clothes impart power upon people, and there's one big corporation, and they have control of the red threads. And the red threads that you put in the clothes make you, like, superpowered. And her suit eats the red threads, so she is constantly stripping people, literally, of their power. There's her battle form.
Thanks for the clothes, Dad.
Also, whenever she does the transformation sequence, they always have an anime. Both of her Norts
Norks.
do this very pronounced, like, boing thing.
Oh, yeah.
I thought the dorks would be covered from the bottom, not from the top.
No, it's
Can
just
we call 'em
open
snorks
season.
from now on?
I was
There you
burping
go.
as I was saying that. I'm sorry. The dorks. I hear that the animation's really beautiful, though. I have a friend
It
who's
is.
an animator who works at Blizzard, and he's always, like, tweeting, like, I can't
People
believe how
love Kill la
great
Kill.
it looks.
Absolutely. It's very silly. It's super violent, which is great. Always good. And I think it's self-aware, which is a good thing.
It's violent, but not really bloody.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But she has like a half a scissor is like her.
Oh, really?
'Cause she's
Okay,
fighting
that,
clothes.
that fits with, like, the
Yeah.
fashion and...
She's tailoring.
okay.
Tailoring. Tailor.
You know, all this Kill la Kill talk makes me think of one of our sponsors.
Nailed
Oscar
it.
nominated
See that?
performance.
That's how you do it. Want to remind everyone, this episode of The Patch is brought to you by Crunchyroll. We have an exclusive offer here.
And
got
it
all that
all worked. You had it.
we have it's because it's written wrong
He's
here.
ripping the
It's
envelope
written
up
wrong.
right
Rooting
now.
for you, Gus. You were the chosen one.
We have an exclusive offer you have for our listeners. It's wrong.
There you go.
They sabotaged
Called him
you.
out.
We have an exclusive offer.
We have an exclusive
We have an
offer for our
exclusive
listeners.
offer here for our listeners. Try out Crunchyroll Premium for 30 days free with crunchyroll.com/thepatch. Unlimited anime, manga, and drama titles. Newest episodes as soon as 1 hour after air in Japan via simulcast. All episodes professionally subtitled, and all episodes are ad-free in 1080p HD. Enjoy across all devices: Xbox, PlayStation, Wii U, Roku, Android, iOS, Apple TV, etc. That's crunchyroll.com/thepatch. And you can even watch Kill la Kill. It's on my list here.
Yes.
So I will have to go check out Kill la Kill on
Yes.
my Crunchyroll
It's
account.
something to be experienced.
I want to say before we stop with Konami, because I didn't get it in when we were talking about doing it before Kill la Kill.
I didn't get it in when we were talking about doing it.
Norks.
Story of the first fucking 25 years of my life.
All right, so there's this really cute thing that was posted on Reddit about Kojima joining Konami. And it's so cute. Okay, it says, this is an interview with Kojima. He says, I joined Konami in 1986. Everyone sort of did everything back then. And when I was hired as a planner. No one else was called that. Back then, it wasn't easy for me to fit into a group. People sort of accused and attacked me as being this guy who didn't have any technological skills. People, instead of saying hi, would come over and say, at least complete one game before you die.
Damn. That's
Wow.
cold.
The Japanese know how to throw it down.
And then he threw it back down and was like, and then threw it down with someone's wife, and now he's no
And now
longer.
it's the fall from grace.
And
I
daughter.
wonder if it was that guy's wife and daughter.
I'm gonna perpetuate that now. That's my.
By the way, I hope we can find, maybe you can, if you Google Kojima joining Konami, you can find this graphic, but it's the cutest little young Kojima. I want to
Oh, was
give
that
him,
actually him?
I think so. I want to give him
I thought it was.
Oh, no.
That can't be.
No.
It
I thought it was
is.
like a random photo.
It looks.
That's
well, I mean, why
Kojima?
would they use it?
What was he, 4?
It looks like a girl.
It does
Yeah,
look like
so
a girl.
I thought it was a woman.
If it is, then I want to give her a hug too. Maybe that's her.
Maybe she was like, "Why don't you
Oh.
finish a game, Kojima?"
Before he died, he's like, finish this, and then that's how it.
And then they got
Wee-
disbanded.
wee-
That's really funny.
Yeah, I love that.
That's
Instead
that's
of
also
Haywood.
like a brutal corporate culture.
God, man.
Can you imagine, like, if you started here, like, you know, Caden or one of those other losers you have working over there, where you're like, why don't you make something funny before you die? Jesus! And then just fucking, like, push him in the mud.
Caden actually in the hospital right now.
Yeah, I heard about that. Well, that's a little awkward. I think that's why I was thinking about him.
Probably
He's
not
fine.
dying.
He's fine.
But I mean, he's made a few funny things, so I mean, he can die, but I think he's okay. I think he's all right.
Jesus.
He'll be back in a couple days.
He tweeted that he has pneumonia.
He does, yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he'll be back soon.
That's awful.
Yeah. I think
We wish
It's
you
real
best,
make-
and also make good shit.
what was funny was leading up to that, and we're going to talk about Caden for a bit. Leading up to that, he had been
Alright.
talking about how, and he had tweeted this. This is the only reason I feel comfortable saying this, is he had been tweeting about how sometimes, even though he's an adult, he forgets he has health insurance. So when he's sick and feeling bad, he doesn't think to go to the doctor.
How
And
do
then-
you forget for that long?
Yeah, and then I guess he was finally like, oh,
Turns
right,
out.
I can go to the doctor.
Turns
And then
out
they-
pneumonia.
I don't have to fight this alone.
Right, so now
Medical professionals can fix this.
yeah, he's working on it with a team of highly qualified professionals. Still sending funny tweets. He was sending out pictures of the curtains surrounding his bed and things like that.
Real funny tweets. Real
Nice.
funny stuff there.
So good luck, Caden. Hope your tuberculosis gets better. So what else is going
Consumption.
on?
Let's
I was
keep
going to say
upping it.
consumption.
consumption.
Let's keep upping it.
What else is going on? So the biggest news, I was remiss to say that Kojima's name being removed from Metal Gear Solid 5 was the biggest, simply because Satoru Iwata from Nintendo passed away
Yes.
very suddenly over the weekend. I was in the cab actually on my way to the airport from Comic-Con when I read it. It was unbelievable because he was only 55, and I guess he had some. From what I understand, he had a bile duct, some type of pancreatic cancer,
Yeah,
maybe.
bile duct growth.
Yeah,
is
bile
what they
duct
said.
growth
But
last
he'd been
year.
struggling with his health for a while, so it wasn't intensely sudden, but it seemed like he was on the mend. He had
Right.
skipped some things. He wasn't at E3 last year, and he wasn't at E3 this year either. And but it seemed like he had just recently shared that he was getting better. And then
Well, and the saddest part to me was, and no one knows, right? Like we didn't know that he was this ill. We didn't know, what was
Right.
happening. Was everyone was unhappy with Nintendo's E3 performance, and he like personally apologized, saying, "I'm sorry that you all were so unhappy with
Ooh.
our performance." I think that was the last like public statement he made. It's like, oh my god,
yeah.
that's rough.
Boy.
Well, and
For
he-
someone with such a storied career and so much
Right.
success behind him.
Well, I mean, I hate to say that it sort of shined a light on that. People often don't realize what they have until it's gone, and it's something that people have been able to take a look back and realize what a gem they had in this man, and what a dedicated individual they had in someone in a leadership position at a huge company for them, and somebody who the quote that keeps getting shared along is that I'm a gamer at heart. I mean, that's really where he was coming from. So I think people are taking a step back to kind of realize that. But this was also the guy that took a pay cut when the Wii didn't do well and said,
The Wii U.
the Wii U. I'm sorry that he personally felt responsible for it not doing well and took a pay cut because of it.
I was trying to do some research, like when they announced that he had passed away, and I was doing some Google searches for his name to find out what maybe his health history was, and I read a terrible quote. So you gave his very good quote about him being a gamer at heart. Apparently, the previous CEO was Yamauchi, who was known for being like a real like hard ass about stuff. And apparently, his last words to Iwata before he passed away were, "If the Wii U doesn't succeed, you should kill yourself."
Oh no!
And I was like, what the fuck is that kind of what is that to say to someone?
He probably is the same guy who worked at Konami. It was like, get a game before you die.
I was like, Jesus, that's like some
If the Wii U doesn't do well, you should probably. Well, so this was like, he's like, I'm taking a pay cut. Everyone was like, man, he's taking a pay cut. He's like, yeah, I'm actually taking the easy way out on this
It's like
one, but-
corporate suicide, really.
Yeah,
I mean,
pretty
come
much.
You don't want to hear what the last guy in this office said I should do. It's like,
What do you think he said to the next person?
I don't know.
What do you
I
think
want to
his
say
words
it's
were?
like something much more upbeat. Like,
I know, so probably like,
give a
have
hug to everybody.
fun and have a rainbow every day.
remember these moments
Just touch
that we
people's-
cherish.
Yeah.
So then, and as part of this release, Nintendo said in the interim, there's going to be two directors running Nintendo. It's Miyamoto, who of course everybody knows probably, and Genyo Takeda, who they credit with being Nintendo's first game designer. Because apparently back in the 70s, or was it? Trying to find the exact date. I can't find it. He created a 6-player horse racing betting arcade game, and it was Nintendo's first game.
That's cool.
So that's why they credit him as being Nintendo's very first game designer. And he went on to do other things. He led the team that created the arcade version of Punch-Out, which was revolutionary at the time because it used 2 monitors or 2 displays, which I thought was pretty cool. I went through and read his history as best as I could. But
Yeah.
it was interesting to see, what they're doing, that they have, 2 people who are very capable games makers.
It's crazy
stepping
to
in.
me that he never passed the torch when he knew he was ill. Like, he never found another person to take his place. Or you're starting to see, obviously, like, the Japanese have a storied history of being very driven and working very, very hard. We're actually starting to see a lot of the older artists saying, okay, well, actually, I'm going to retire, which is something that's sort of new. Oh, my God. Studio Ghibli, the guy who does Miyazaki, thank you. God, driving me nuts.
Nice. You got that one, but not
thank
something
you.
Saito.
Something Saito.
Yes.
Hidden-
Yeah. He can't defend
Saito's a
himself.
last
Keep going.
name. Miyazaki's also a last name.
It is. He's got the
He's
last
got the
name.
last
Yeah, I
name.
got last
Got
names
it.
down.
Miyazaki actually retired and was like, I'm tired, I've worked too much. The guy who draws One Piece, that's been drawing it for, 26 years or something, was finally like, I'm retiring, I've had enough.
I didn't research this story because we typically don't talk about this on the patch. But didn't Miyazaki, like just today or yesterday, say he's going to come out of retirement to work on some shorts?
To be fair, Miyazaki has come out of, this will probably be the 4th time he's come out of retirement. So maybe it's one of those you can't stop your passion. Like, you just
Yeah.
want to keep doing it for however long, but...
Well, I
it's
mean, we're also
interesting.
talking about a culture that is literally working itself to extinction.
Yes.
Like, they're working so hard that they are not taking time to make babies.
Well,
That's
maybe if they
very
had
true.
more mother-daughter 3-ways, they would.
That's right.
Those people
double
work.
the babies.
You know who's Kojima saving the
He's on a new
Kojima's
mission.
making those
Yeah, I felt bad. I
babies.
felt bad making that joke. I kind of regret that one.
The babies have flippers, but Kojima is making
Not yet. They got a couple generations before that's a problem.
So,
Well, there was a weird thing today. I don't know if you guys noticed this, but Prototype 1 and 2 came out on the Xbox One. It was very strange.
yeah, out of nowhere.
It was
seemed
really out of left field. Like, that was we actually just shot something in it about a couple hours ago. But it was just like, it was funny because Caden the other day was looking on Xbox achievements and found that they were now listed as Xbox One, and that was the first inkling we'd had of it. And today it was just like, okay, they're out. You can get them in a bundle.
It
60
seems like
bucks.
someone would have mentioned that, especially with E3 being so recently. Seems like, if nothing else, it could be like a footnote in someone's keynote, or like on the floor, like, oh yeah, that's coming out in a couple of weeks.
Well, here's the thing. Here's what I'm wondering. So the big thing at E3 for Xbox was backwards compatibility.
Right, yeah.
Did that just completely tank what they were going to do? Because I played it. It's maybe 1080, but I don't know that it's 1080 60, and they didn't up-res any of the models.
Really?
I mean, it looks fine, but it definitely looks like a 360 game. Like, the textures are probably higher resolution, but that's about it. Like, the models are still lower res. Still plays fine. I mean, it's a good title. I would recommend it if you never played it.
I'd be curious to see that side by side with. So, wait. That makes me wonder then.
Yeah.
We're going to take this a step further. What if they do not enable backwards compatibility for that title, specifically because they have this new remastered version?
I can't imagine why they would. I mean, at this point, if you want to play it on the one, it seems like that would be the ideal way to do it.
If they enabled it, I'd be curious to see the two side by side, like a comparison.
Yeah, it would be really interesting to see how much of an upres it was,
Right.
or if at all. I mean, it doesn't feel like an HD remake. It feels like almost like a port. So they may have been just trying to eke by with as little as they could, and then it's like, oh crap, now we can just backwards.
Do you think that maybe it was something that was going to be part of a presentation or was going to be on the floor, and then Microsoft was like, hey guys, we hate to break it to you, but we're going to announce backwards compatibility, and then whoever was the publisher was just like,
No, because it's not like it didn't get the kind of treatment like Gears of War, where it's like a lot of work went into making it a true next-gen sort of title.
right, that's what I'm saying. That's why they didn't talk about it, because
Yeah.
they knew, they found out that backwards compatibility was going to be a thing.
It also, we're not talking about a series that did particularly well. I mean, it was a solid couple games, but they sure didn't get a 3, at least not yet. So
Yeah, I missed that series. I totally have not played either of those games.
open world, pretty good. Actually, I've been playing 4 games, and 3 of them were really good this week. But 3 of them were also open world. I've been playing Batman Arkham Knight. I've been playing Assassin's Creed 4, Black Flag, because it was free on Xbox for Gold.
Love that game.
I would love to see you debate Gavin in that.
Really? Gavin doesn't like it?
Hates Black Flag.
No,
What?
I'm not normally an Assassin's Creed fan.
I feel like it's the one that's universally
But
accepted
that
by
one I'm like,
everyone.
really
It's
yes,
the good one.
Black Flag.
And here's
please.
the thing: Black Flag makes me hate Unity even more because if they could have just used that engine and not messed around with it, they could have really delivered a good game.
I never gave a fuck about sea shanties until Black Flag. And then anytime it was like I could unlock one, like, yes, I want another
I do
one.
want a song.
I would not fast travel just so I could hear as many sea shanties as possible while sailing around.
That's how I feel about in Towerfall, the new expansion that came out. There's one song, and then there's one stage that has like a song that every time I'm like, do do do. I'm like always singing along to this one, so I always pick it as like my level. I'm like, let's play this one just for. I want like the soundtrack just for that song.
But great game. It's free on Games for Gold, so totally pick it up if you haven't. And the other thing was Prototype. But then the 4th game that came out this week that I've been playing is Godzilla.
Godzilla.
It's
Matthew
PS3,
Broderick?
PS4. Sadly, no. Maybe would have made this game.
Sadly, no.
Dear God.
Oh, was it bad?
Seriously, this game is awful. I mean, it's terrible. One, we got it on the PS4. I think it's a PS3 and PS4 title. You wouldn't know to look at it. It's not pretty. It's really flatly lit. The areas are really small. The controls are stupid. I hit the mic. That's how stupid they are. You walk forward with the left stick. Now, Gus, in any game that you've ever played, if you wanted to turn left, what would you do?
I guess rotate the camera and go that way?
Well,
Yeah.
so you'd move the right stick,
Yeah.
you think, or maybe even the left stick.
Yeah.
No, it's R1 and R2, or R1 and L1.
When I said rotate the camera, I figured it was understood that it would be one of the sticks. So I guess
No.
you rotate with...
You turn the monster. You can rotate the camera with the right stick, but you turn the monster with R1 and L1. You can strafe with the left stick and move forward and backwards. Everything takes place at this speed.
Somebody get a
For the
glass
people
of water.
listening, yes, this is the slowest
Stomp.
speed I can move, I think.
Stomp.
Yes. No, you're...
So you could potentially...
it's on screen.
Whoa,
here in a
he's
second.
stomping way faster than
You could
said.
potentially rotate the
There you
camera
go.
in one direction and be walking in a different one. Yep,
Wait,
just like that.
Honestly, I think
Yeah.
it's so you can get that side-on view.
Excuse me, Godzilla is doing the grapevine. I think that's ridiculous.
You're right. Yeah, I think that you're right. They
It's, by
did
the way-
that so you could make it look like a Godzilla movie.
The
Why is
thing
it
that's
black
on
and white
screen,
also?
the tutorial's in black and white. Once you get past that, it's in color, like barely Technicolor.
He also stepped through that building and it didn't explode, and then he was like, and it finally did explode.
You do a lot of that. You break a lot of buildings.
Well, let me ask you this.
Yes.
A lot of the early Godzilla movies looked really shitty. Is this intentional to be a callback to that
I'm okay
lo-fi aspect?
if it looks shitty, but when it plays shitty, it is a slow, tedious game. So here's everything that you do. At the start of every map, and it's got a branching map that's
wow.
by difficulty. At the start of every map, you come walking in as your monster of choice. There's a couple different ways you can be different monsters, but it starts as Godzilla. You come walking in. You start breaking city pieces or skitties or Norbits or whatever. Norries. You kill some tanks, whatever. And then it's like, uh-oh, another kaiju's coming. And another kaiju shows up. And then you fight the kaiju. There's no blocking. So basically you're just wailing on buttons and the enemy's just hitting you sometimes.
To be fair, there's no blocking in Godzilla movies.
There is sort of a block. Well, they got kind of a block where if you...
I'm being devil's advocate here.
I was just
to
thinking
be
of
fair.
that Chappelle show skit where he's like Godzilla, but then he blocks a punch, and then he does block. There is blocking in Dave Chappelle's Godzilla.
That would have been more fun. But it's just... And you got like 3 moves that's all you can do.
One of
You
them's
can-
grapevine, apparently.
Yeah.
One of them's a grapevine.
He does the electric slide if you give him enough room.
If only. It would have breathed some life into the character.
Please make an electric slide Godzilla.
But yeah, no, it's just slow and tedious, and that's the entire game. Like the map launches, you have to destroy generators, a kaiju will show up, you go to the next map. Same thing, over and over and over again. You get to the end, and you've unlocked some evolution points, There are things you can upgrade on your monster to do it again. I mean, there's branches, but it's not that many. So it's not really that difference of an experience.
So the question, Ryan, that everyone has on their mind at this point, why did you play this game?
We were going to do a versus in it, or not a versus. We were going to do a Let's Play in it because it has multiplayer.
It does. So what's the multiplayer aspect?
You just
Multiple people doing the electric slide.
yeah, basically. I mean, just a bunch of kaiju kind of beating on each other. But again, there's no blocking. So if you're playing like a sort of a fighter game, it's just that's the laser beam because he can do a laser beam from his mouth. And that's it.
You killed Meg.
She's
Chappelle
deep
again?
in the electric slide.
Don't worry about it.
Are you drunk? Have you been drinking that while you're not looking?
She's been fishing out the strawberries at the bottom.
Yeah.
All right. Well, here I'm gonna read this other thing. Then I got something to tell you.
Okay.
Want to remind everyone this episode of the Patch is also brought to you by MeUndies. 90%. That's the percent of your life that you're in your underwear, and underwear gets old fast. You know that feeling of putting on old, saggy underwear? You need to know the feeling of great fitting underwear that is 2 times softer than cotton. Shut up, Meg. You need to know about MeUndies.com. MeUndies has the most comfortable underwear you'll ever try on, and it's insane how good they'll make you feel. They fit perfectly, they don't ride up on you, and they literally pull moisture away from your skin so you stay cool. But they also make you look great. Go to MeUndies.com and check out the photography, but you have to try them on for yourselves. This quality would typically retail for 2 times the MeUndies price. No retail middleman means more savings for you. We'll make it easy. Go to MeUndies.com/thepatch and get 20% off your first order and low flat rate international shipping. Save even more when you buy a pack of them. They guarantee you're going to be happy with them or your first pair is free. Once you feel MeUndies on your body, you're never going back. You're never going back. I feel like I flipped that. And MeUndies isn't just for you guys. I was going to say, I was in my head. I said you're never going to go back, and I felt like you go
I'm still
back.
stuck on saggy underwear.
I know.
Like,
That's what made me
loose
laugh.
drawers.
I'm going to talk about that in a second, actually, before I get to my other thing.
I don't want to hear about your
MeUndies.com
All right.
isn't just for you guys. They launched their All of Me women's collection, a 4-piece line of undies designed specifically for the female body. But in order to get that 20% off, you have to go to MeUndies.com/thepatch. That's MEUndies.com/thepatch. So not the most recent RT podcast, but the one before MeUndies was a sponsor. And we had, who was on there? I know Chris Damaris was on there, and I think maybe Brandon. And Chris was talking about how he had an old pair of underwear from when he was 15. He had it for 13 years. I was like, Chris, throw it away.
Yeah.
I was like, this ad is targeted right at you.
He didn't say he didn't wash it. I mean,
Well, I know, but it's just like, can you imagine that underwear's like...
what kind of
Well, he even commented that it was like tight, a little tight now. It's like, yeah,
tight?
of
That's
course.
the opposite. It's gotten stronger through the years.
No, it was for a 13-year-old boy. So what I was going to say was what I've been playing. So I've been doing something a little different than normal lately. So, of course, I played 60 Seconds, which is our Game Club game. But I started... So, during the Bethesda E3 conference, they announced Fallout 4, but they also talked about Fallout Shelter. And I showed the trailer and the presentation to Esther, my wife, and she really likes those kinds of games. So she's been playing Fallout Shelter like crazy. She played a ton of it. And it intrigued her enough to where she was like, I played a ton of Fallout 3. She's like, I remember you playing Fallout 3, but she said, I want you to play a new Fallout 3 playthrough and have me tell you what to do. So I said, okay.
Backseat gaming.
We've been doing a Fallout 3 playthrough where she tells me where to go, what choices to make, and everything. It's been really fun and really interesting. And she's now actually excited about Fallout 4.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, it's someone who would have had no interest in the game at all. So I think that Bethesda really nailed it with Fallout Shelter and getting someone who's not normally interested in their game to be like, oh, yes. And like partway through our playthrough, she was like, so when's the next one coming out? When's Fallout 4 coming out? I said, in November. I was like, do you want to watch the trailer? And she was like, yes, I would love to. So I didn't even show her the trailer. I showed her like the E3 presentation, and she was like, yes, we are going to play that. I want to see this.
I would like to play this.
Here's the thing.
Yeah.
Do you want to play your first time through that way, or do you want to play through yourself first?
I'm going to have to run to... yeah, it's going to be hard. I feel my first playthrough has to be me. I'm sorry, Esther.
Oh.
But I got.
She doesn't watch this.
She's waited
don't
this
kid
long.
yourself. She
Yeah.
doesn't watch it.
Someone's going to send her a message. And then the second playthrough can be her. Or I can run 2 concurrent playthroughs, but mine has to be a little ahead. The first time, you don't know.
That's
since
true.
It's so
That's
open
how
world.
I play Walking Dead. I wouldn't I wouldn't watch, like Gavin never got it before I got it, but I would always make sure if I knew he was going to like play it the night it came out, I'd play it like during the day. So I knew everything that happened. I could experience it first before I watched him play.
Mm-hmm.
I couldn't, I always want to make my own choices.
Right.
Before I see somebody else
Well,
make any
you
choices.
see the other option, or
Yeah.
you see any options, even if it's not the one you're going to make, you're like, oh, well, I kind of know, and
I
it might
get, like,
influence you.
Exactly.
Well, actually, that's a good question. So between the two of you, do you feel like you and your significant other make similar choices?
No.
All right.
Not at all.
Universally, no.
No, I'm way more ruthless.
So in Fallout 3, which is the comparison I'm making, the one choice I think that we have very similarly is that we fucking hate Moira Brown.
Oh, what's wrong with Moira? What, you're looking at me like she's bad.
She's like the worst human being.
Well, she's just doing her best to survive in this post-apocalyptic world.
No.
She's doing tests. She's putting
No.
together a book to help save humanity.
So yeah, I went through and I did all the book stuff. Like I'm doing all, I tried to explore the world as thoroughly as possible. And Esther's just like, no, I'm pissed off at my father, and we're gonna find him, and we're gonna find out why the fuck he left me in that vault. And then
She was singular.
Yeah, we finally found him, and she was like, if he doesn't give me the right answer, I'm gonna shoot him in the head right now.
Jesus.
I'm going to shoot him in the head. I'm going to have you, my lackey, shoot him in the head.
I was
Gus,
like, okay.
shoot that man.
It would please me.
I want her to like snap.
So no, totally different choices.
That's
So,
cool.
Yeah, it's been interesting. Same thing with Three Dog in his mission. You know, before he tells you where your father went, you have to go like help him put the transmitter up. And same thing. She was like, if he doesn't tell me where my father, if I have to do another mission, that's it. Shoot him in the face.
Esther is like, I imagine like a crime syndicate, and everybody's like hard, big dudes, and then they open the door, and it's like Esther sitting there with like a bottle of booze. Like, you better tell me what I want to know. I'm gonna fucking shoot
I was
you,
like, I don't know. And
Or
she
have
said,
Gus do it.
or have somebody else shoot you.
And she said, what'll happen if you shoot him? I said, I don't know. I've never done that. You know, if we're talking about Three Dogs. Like,
Yeah.
every Brotherhood of Steel paladin in this building may turn on me and try to kill me right away, and I don't think we can kill them all. She said, okay, we're gonna do it anyway. But luckily, it didn't come to that. Luckily, he tells you.
Thankfully, he did what her bidding.
Also, you can easily make it so you can't win that game. You can
Right,
kill
yeah.
people that you needed, and it's all right. Well, you just can wander around if you like, but you'll never know.
It's a fun world to wander around in, though.
It is. There's a lot to do.
I definitely want to go back through Fallout 3 to before Fallout 4.
That's kind of one of the reasons that, like, I'm kind of encouraging this. I kind of really want to do it again. Is I want to re-explore that world ahead of the Fallout 4
But
release.
for the thing that you bring up about Fallout Shelter is I felt like I was like super excited about Fallout Shelter, and then I played it for like 3 days, and then I was like, like maybe like a week, and then I was like,
Yeah, she kind of fell off of it, and this was like her replacement. Like,
Yeah.
I want to see more of that world.
Yeah, I feel like it had a really sharp drop off for pretty much everyone I talked to.
Well, yeah,
I mean, it's a free-to-play game,
Yeah.
and it wasn't really designed to, I don't think, to have a large amount of longevity.
I got to like 90 something Vault Dwellers and was like, I've seen it all pretty much.
I did too. I didn't even get to 100.
Yeah.
I stopped.
Gavin and I had a bet going that he would get to, or that which one of us would get to 100 first, and actually he did because I was like, I don't really care anymore. I don't even care about the bet anymore.
It was a fun game for the couple of days that I played
Yeah.
it. If you haven't played it, I highly recommend it.
Yeah,
And
but you're gonna fall off.
Yeah, it's
eventually.
free. You even like the pay options in the game. You're like, I don't need them.
Yeah.
It really doesn't
I
matter.
bought a lunchbox. I'm not gonna lie.
I think it was really
Bought one lunchbox.
a really clever thing of them to do is to just release that as sort of a standalone promo, and
Yeah.
it's not so much of a commitment that it. I mean, I'm sure there took a lot of work to make it, but it wasn't so intensive that they couldn't just get it out there for free.
Yeah, they talked about the strategy of holding off. I guess it's been done for a while, but they were holding off until they could announce Fallout 4, so they could say like. Because they said if they announce Fallout Shelter first, people would be like, "What the hell? This is what we want. Like we want Fallout 4. This is a cop out." So he was saying they waited until they could announce Fallout 4 to be like, "We're announcing what you want. It's coming. Also enjoy this thing that we made."
Yeah, I
Also,
think what
everybody-
they said was Fallout Shelter was ready by last year's
Yeah.
E3, and they said there was
Wow.
no way they could put that out and not talk about Fallout 4.
Yep.
So they held on to it.
Also, everybody loves that mic drop moment of, and you can play it now. Boom. Except, just wait, because it's going to be a little while, then the server needs
Yeah.
to go up, and then after the thing's over, then go check. Give it a couple hours.
Yeah, mic drop moments are great unless it's prototype
I
just
should
mysteriously
probably pick
appearing.
That mic back up.
Unless it's
Actually,
prototype
sorry.
just showing up.
Sorry, excuse me. I'm actually not done with the
Yeah,
presentation.
the presentation's still going on. I need that a little
What?
longer.
We have another game? Oh.
I don't know which controllers for Uncharted 4. I don't know which ones they're doing.
Someone dropped them all. So we've had a little bit more information. I'm gonna switch gears here. Apparently, Dead Island 2 dropped, or the publisher Deep Silver dropped their developer for Dead Island 2, which explains why it wasn't at E3 after showing off a trailer last year. And now we're getting like some information from the developer. Who was it? Jaeger? Was that the name? Yeah, Jaeger. Issued a statement today saying that their vision of the game and the publisher's vision of the game diverged.
Interesting.
So that they've decided to end their partnership, and Jaeger's going on to develop other things.
Will they develop Smed Smilin' too? Like, will they just take what they've already developed and turn it into something that the way they wanted it to be?
They had a name of a game that they were working on. I can't remember what it was. Dreadnought. It's a flight combat game.
Well, very different.
Mm-hmm.
With
So-
occasional
It's interesting
zombies?
because, yeah, we wanted Dead Island 2 to be about flying, and they were not very keen on that.
It's funny, yeah.
For first Dead Island was super glitchy and a little weird, but I had a lot of fun playing it.
I wasn't a fan of it. I felt like the
Interesting.
weapons break too quickly.
They did, and I got to a point where I was like, it was another Fallout Shelter. Where it was like 2 weeks. I was like, this game's awesome. Like suddenly I didn't care about it anymore, but for the 2 weeks it was fun.
I
Also,
never
I
played
think
it because everybody spoke so ill of it.
There was a lot of tearing also, and that drove me crazy. Like in the game, I felt like it just gave me a headache.
Didn't
Yeah,
perform well.
I got all the way through like the church sequence, which is like, but the thing is like we played it where I was like, we should be close to done, and then I looked up, I was like, we're like halfway. I don't care enough anymore.
Well, the first one was developed by Techland, who's a different developer, who they went on to make Dying Light.
I was going to say, Dying Light has a very similar feel to that, where it's like, you get to a certain point and you're like, oh, all right, I guess we're just going to keep doing this for a while longer. Sure.
So, I mean, I guess maybe that explains it. In fact, Techland made a game that I played for when I was at Funhouse once. Was it Chrome? Yeah, Chrome Spec Force. It's a terrible game.
Chrome Spec Force.
It was from like
What was the
2002
other-
or something.
Dead Island called.
There was
Riptide.
Yeah, Riptide.
That one was awful.
That was like it was a weird like arcade title, wasn't it?
Awful.
It wasn't even was it a full game?
I think it was a full game.
I don't know.
Okay.
I didn't play it.
I didn't play it either, but it was a very different aesthetic, right? Like it was
I played
kind of
it
arcaded up.
Yeah, I played it for reviews. I played it for like, I don't know, like 10 hours maybe. Oh, maybe less than that. Maybe like 8 hours. I'm just like during a day. But it was awful. It was just like glitchy and weird.
Like Godzilla awful or
Probably. You couldn't do the grapevine in it, which made me sad.
So Godzilla has points about it.
Yeah.
ooh, no, it loses them elsewhere, I'm sure. Seriously, don't buy that game. It's $60 worth of wasted your
Wow,
life.
it's a full retail game.
It's a full retail game.
People be charging too much for games lately. we
People
talked
be
about
charging way too much.
Yeah. So I should have mentioned this earlier, but I didn't. At San Diego Comic Con, so this would have fit perfectly. We were talking about this, about how Suicide Squad had the trailer leak
You're
and
so
everything.
excited about your Crunchyroll segue that you just missed it.
This was way earlier.
I
Shut
know.
up. We talked. So apparently there was also they showed a bit of the Warcraft movie, like not even just a trailer, just like a bit of the movie. And the same thing happened. There was shaky cam footage released, but they haven't released an actual high quality version. I refuse to watch that shaky cam.
Yeah, I didn't
Really?
watch it.
Yeah,
I
I'm
didn't
not.
watch it.
I'm super excited about that movie, about that universe. I will not watch like a shitty cell phone.
Did you watch the Skies of Azeroth?
I did watch
The
that.
360 video.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's a pretty good experience.
So
They did a fairly good job with
it's
it.
like a 360 video where you're riding on a griffin, flying through. Oh, well,
It doesn't
it's
work too well
Weird
on
to
that
see it this
particular.
way.
That's
Wow.
This is the non 360. Well, I mean,
unwrapped, basically, is what it is. It's
You're flying through Stormwind, it looks like, and you can look around and see everything in the city.
Did you see the photoshopped shoulders bit?
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
I thought that
Yes.
was funny.
Where they took the poster and made the accurate
shoulders,
shoulder.
yeah.
Yeah, because they've just got like reasonable shoulders, like football, and it's like no
They should be up
Game.
there.
Yeah, if
This
you can
big.
see anything to your left or right, it's inaccurate.
Yes.
Yeah, no. The only thing I don't get about the Azeroth flight video is they still don't. You really have to do this in 4K. Like, if you're doing a 360 video, it's got to be in 4K. Otherwise, it looks like crap. Just like the Avengers one. It was a great idea, and they obviously put a lot of work into it. It's like you released it at too low a resolution to really enjoy it the way it was meant to be enjoyed. So hopefully as we see more of these, they'll start pushing them at the appropriate resolution. Even though the render time I know is horrendous.
It's like that K-pop dance practice.
Oh, you've seen
360
that
video. That's in 4K. They know what they're doing.
They do, yeah.
Yeah, so I'm excited about all this Warcraft movie stuff. But even that, I don't think I really saw on the floor. Well, actually, that was more like in the legendary area, like in the movie section, and not in the video game section. So maybe that's why Blizzard only had like a retail store, because they felt like they were being covered.
A bunch of small presidences in different areas.
Yeah, in the movie. What else I got here? Oh, so I would not be doing my job. I feel like I would be doing a bad job if I didn't mention the Shenmue 3 Kickstarter is ending in a couple of days.
Yes.
They finally released another video.
I would say.
What a video. I want to point out that this video is 38 seconds long. Of that, I think there's probably at least 5 to 8 seconds of title card, and it gets a zoom in on an ass 3 times. There's one.
Zoom.
There's another one.
Zoom.
But this one kind of at least goes up, and then there's another one towards the end of it. If it keeps running,
Zoom, zoom.
there will be a third ass shot, or maybe. Oh wait, here comes
There
another
it is.
one.
Yep, right there.
All right, there's 2 asses in one shot,
It's not even like she's wearing something cool for
No.
asses.
and got her
Get out of
thong
here,
showing. There's no
yeah.
whale tail. I mean, come on.
Nothing.
So when we were doing the coverage at E3, and we talked about the Shenmue Kickstarter for the first
Yes.
time, I said that I was not impressed with the video they put together for their Kickstarter campaign. And again, with this one, it's the same thing. It doesn't look that great. It looks
It looks really dated.
it looks like 10 years old.
I will only say to you what a fine young commenter said to me: "Bitch, shut your mouth before you talk about Shenmue 3." So.
People are awful. People are awful.
Yeah.
So I maybe
How much is it up to?
when I looked this morning, it was just shy of 5 million.
They did plenty.
Yeah, so they're doing okay.
That'll pay
Yeah, they're
for
okay.
1% of the game.
That with their that with the Sony money.
They can really pimp one of those ass shots out with that kind of money.
What
So-
was it they said they needed 10 million to really make the game they wanted to make or
Yeah.
whatever? Now you don't get it, guys.
Well, don't worry.
do it.
I'm
You
sure
get
Sony
half
will
that.
foot the bill.
Exactly.
Someone's gonna put that money up. So your comment, your quote of the terrible comment you got online reminded me that one of the Lizard Squad members who performed the attack on PSN and Xbox Live over Christmas got convicted in Finland
Yeah, sorta.
to a 2-year suspended prison sentence and a requirement to speak out against cybercrime.
What?
And
Not that he should have jail time, but like, what?
Oh no! Wait, yeah. I did the newsread with Ashton on this one. He was convicted of 50,700 counts. 50,000. How long did it take to read the charges against him?
I've been watching a lot of crime shows because Snapped is one of my favorite series on television. And if you're not familiar, it's where women kill their husbands. And
Do not tell Esther.
she already watches
She
it.
needs you for a little bit
Esther,
longer to get
tune
through
into
all 3.
Oxygen. It's on all the time. Anyway, they always show the courtroom. They're like, as to the count 1 of first-degree murder. Could you imagine? As to count 49,552.
Can we come back tomorrow? Nope. Gotta finish it.
I want to sway. I want to sway. I'm pretty sure that was the same group that was involved in several of the swatting incidents too, and that really needs to be treated as essentially assault with a deadly weapon because
Lizard Squad is part of the group that brought down the plane that the Sony exec was in.
Okay.
I believe. Yes. I want to say I believe that. Yes. But I don't know if they were directly involved with swatting.
Okay.
They did bring down during Christmas when everybody got their consoles. They ruined Christmas.
They did ruin Christmas.
They should have had 50,000 counts of grinching. Absolutely.
Which just means you have to watch that Jim Carrey movie on a loop
Exactly.
50,000
Which-
times.
which-
Speak out against
the-
cyberbullying?
The
What are you
punishment is
gonna do?
we're gonna enlarge your heart.
Yeah, 3 sizes.
It's like a confetti cannon.
Grinching is the new thing. Yeah, no, that's so weird. What does he have to tweet about not cyberbullying people?
I don't know.
What is that?
I don't know.
Y'all don't do it because you might get a suspended sentence and have to say what I'm saying.
Hashtag community service. Just like, why? What would you do?
Yeah, so
Or at
I'm-
least move to Finland first.
I'm glad that he got caught, but I feel like the punishment should have been a
Oh, he didn't
a
get
little
got.
higher. He got caught.
He got found. He didn't get got.
Yeah, he needs to get got.
And they're not going to extradite him
That
either.
sounds like that sounds violent. He needs to get got.
I don't-
Somebody needs to get
I
got.
don't need anything bad to happen. Well, I mean,
Get got.
he needs to
I
go to
don't-
prison.
I don't want him to be physically hurt.
Yeah.
Yes, there you go.
I just
And
want
if-
an appropriate punishment.
If bad
for
things
it.
happen to him in prison, well, that's what happens when you go to prison. But yeah, that's an inappropriate level of response.
Yeah.
Yes, I think there should have been a little more.
Also, did you see that guy that escaped from prison in Mexico?
Yes.
There's
Why do you
video
ask
of
me?
that. Oh. That's,
Like, did you see
I'm
him
not
in-
related to him.
I have no idea what we're talking about.
Wait, call
is
my
Gus a
phone and
mule
then the
now?
Mexican hat dance will play.
It's a $3.8 million reward.
Yeah, and
3.8.
did you see that he tweeted apparently a Twitter that was run by his son tweeted at Donald Trump that was like, "Shut your damn mouth, or somebody's gonna shut it for
I'm on my
you."
way to the U.S. God.
But there's video of him escaping, and it was on Kotaku of all places. That I was like, "Why is this here?" Also, I'll watch it.
But since it's here,
Yeah,
and since
but I
I'm here,
mean-
might as well watch the video.
Might as well.
All right. Well, we need to wrap up.
Yep.
All right. Want to thank everyone for watching. Stay tuned if you're watching the live stream for Game Club. Otherwise, we'll see you guys next week. Bye.